Hi, everyone, and thank you for joining us. If you're watching this, I really hope you are. I am with the ever radiant Beth Pender, and Beth and I have been working together. I have got my notes, as I always do. Beth and I worked together for 16 weeks. Beth, can you believe it? 16 weeks.
Yeah, it doesn't feel...
I know, right? We actually started working together on the 31st of August, and our last formal session was on the 18th of December. And in that time, we had 15 sessions, but that included the comp session and the session we did for Seamus, and the debrief after you did the live in the group, which I'll also touch on later on. And the first question I always like to ask in these interviews, because it does intrigue me. I really do like to know, what was it that made you decide you wanted to work with me after that consult call?
I just felt like I knew that you were going to be the one that was going to finally help me get on the right track. And just with different things throughout that first call we had together, and then afterwards, I don't know how many emails I bombarded you with in the time that we actually did start, but I mean, you were ready and willing to help me from the word go, and like with my thought processes and all that sort of thing. And every time I emailed you and it would come back, like you would reply, but they were helpful replies where you would help me to dig further. You weren't, and as we said in the consult call, nobody really needs to be told what to do. It's the right guidance, and yeah, you were it.
And that was the thing, because I rewatched part of it this morning, and that was the thing that kind of shone through as well. Was that you were sort of initially you said you were worried about getting out of your comfort zone, and I kind of went, oh, that's not it. It's just that you didn't know where to go, and you spoke about the line that you said is, I just want someone to tell me what to do and I'll do it. But it's never really been about that either, has it? It's been more about, consider this, what about this? How does this feel to you? And that's the part that, from my perspective, is the most empowering for the person that I work with, because it's not about me telling you, I'm just opening avenues for you. And the thing that makes me chuckle about agreeing to work together was that I think I kept trying to convince you to really make sure you wanted to work with me.
Yes.
And the way we structured it, we did have the formal 12 sessions, but we did like 4 + 4 + 4 with 2 weeks in between. Because I remember I kept saying to you, even in those in-between times, you don't have to come back. You just make sure, you may find someone else, but you kept coming back, which I'm forever thankful for. But it sort of, it always made me chuckle. But from your perspective, structuring that way, because I know you did a lot of work in a lot of other areas, structuring it the way we did, from your perspective, how was that beneficial for you? Like, what did that do for you to sort of have that freedom in the structure?
Well, it was good because, as you said, I had other things going on as well as working with you. So I think one of them was when I went off and did the peak healing, and was at the beginning. I don't know, but
yeah,
I was able to process, like go and do something, process it by myself, but then know that I had more calls to go with you, so that I could, like, you would help me piece it all together and slot those. I'm getting goosebumps. Why am I getting goosebumps? But yeah, you would just help me, like you are my rock, and I would go back to you for that extra bit of guidance and reassurance, I guess, which, as we've said, I still sort of need that. It's not so much a pat on the back. It's not even, you're on the right track, you're doing the right thing. I feel like we are like-minded. So when I've got things that pop up and stuff like that, and you know, because I'm only just starting out on this journey really, and I see you as an expert in it. Yeah, I know, even though you don't feel it, but it's awesome because I can come back to you and go, okay, well, this, and this happened. So what the hell does that mean? And you set me straight every time. And I come away and I'm like, right, now I get it. So
I'm going to put a disclaimer on that expert thing. Not that I don't think I'm an expert. I do believe that. But I think that the expertise is actually about helping you put it together in how it relates to you. And this is, I think, what people don't really get about the kind of work that we do, yourself included. It is all about what you need. So, you know, when you come back to me and we have those discussions to see where it all fits in, that kind of conversation would be completely different with someone else. It's got to fit for you. It's got to work for you, and you've got to have the understanding. And I think that's what we managed to achieve for you time and again. You know, and while we're on that sort of track, just before we started recording, I made the observation that even in the consult call and several times throughout our time working together, it's always been this idea that you are just remembering. And I think that I can probably say that with everyone that I've worked with, that sense of remembering is probably the strongest I've ever seen in you. And I say that because the concepts that we talked about would just be, you would just go, oh yeah, that makes sense. Okay, next. Oh yeah, that makes next, which is a little bit of a thing that we had to deal with as well. But that sense of remembering, can you tell me from your perspective how that feels for you to know that all of this was actually in you anyway, and this is a remembering process for you?
I think it just, what's the word? It just solidifies, I guess, everything that I have always thought. And even after our first call, I remember going back and flicking through my journal that I had written, often like with the downloads or whatever they're called, and where I just literally write and write and write. And I remember emailing you going, oh my God, like pretty much everything you have said, I had already written down like 6 or 12 months ago or whatever it was. So yeah, I guess it really, to begin with, it was like, well, yeah, it just solidifies everything that I already knew, and yeah, just needed to sort of have like those little taps turned to start remembering it all again. And yes, as we just discovered before, like we'll have conversations and it'll just go zoom and it's absorbed and it's there.
It generally takes just 10-15 minutes and we kind of go, okay, good, yeah, good, yeah, good.
Yeah.
No, I find that amusing, but I also find it fascinating. So I actually want to talk now about what you achieved in the time we worked together. Now, the thing that, so I remember I remember receiving the notification to join your group and going, what the hell? Because that happened in that second 2-week break that we had. So I've listed what I think is some of your achievements, but you set up your own Facebook group. You decided on a company name. You got business cards done. You've taken on hands-on clients. So you're going and seeing clients on a one-to-one basis, and you're working towards taking on online clients as well. And not to be forgotten, even though I didn't write it up, is when you did the live read in the group, which ended up being a blind live read thanks to technology. And that in itself, given where you were when we started, the idea that I would throw you into a live read, well, ask you to do a live read, and then you're thrown into it being a blind read is just something quite phenomenal. And if anyone is watching this afterwards, you can probably scroll back through and watch Beth at work doing that blind read, because I was sitting there watching and just going, she's got it. Yep. You just and you just had it the whole time. They're the highlights I've seen for myself. Can you think of any highlights for yourself through our time together?
All of it.
You are so good for my ego.
But it's true. Like, I know I've told you so many times, and I think even in that first consult call, I told you I loved you and how awesome you were, because you get it, and you are like, you become what we all need. And after every call that I've had with you, I come away just feeling like I can conquer anything and everything, because once you get those pieces slotted in the right spot, the right space, it does feel like you can just, okay, move on to the next thing. And I think, like, when we did that session for Seamus, that was bloody amazing, because we were working together and it was awesome. I mean, yes, we worked together anyway, but to work together on him was just amazing, because everything you were saying was, you know, with the way he was born, his birth, everything. And then the goosebumps that we had, my God, it was just amazing. And then the fact that, so we did this session, I don't know if you want to tell everybody, or like, we did the session because he was sleeping so badly and waking up like every hour to hour and a half. And mind you, this was only, when was this? A couple of months ago, 3 months ago maybe, and he's almost 2. So he's getting beyond the point of waking up every bloody hour. And yeah, with the work that we did on him together, within a few weeks, his sleep had dramatically improved. And still now, like, he might wake up once through the night, but it's generally just, you know, give him his water bottle and he's back to sleep, and yeah, he sleeps through. So thank you for my sleep.
You're most welcome. But this, you know, to me, and I know that you're going to go far in this field as well. I know that. It's just, every fibre of my being knows that. And to me, it just, you know, what you've just spoken about solidifies the base concept behind all the work that we do, and that is energy, and energy is everything. And being able to tap into that the way that we do. And it's not about necessarily manipulating it or changing it. It's about reading it and allowing the person to heal it. Obviously, with a child, it's a little bit different because you take the surrogate form in that case. But to me, this is always the power behind the kind of work we do, being able to get in, feel the energy, and then work out ways to make it flow better. Is that, you know, if that's the right wording? And you've experienced that yourself with your hands-on clients and the people that you've already made contact with online as well. And as I said, I can, you know, you're just going to go really far in this field. I know you are. And for me to have been part of it, and thankfully continuing to be part of it for a little bit longer, is truly, it's just an amazing thing for me to witness. Yeah, that was, I don't know where that came from. That was just me just fully appreciating you and what you're capable of. Because honestly, it just can't be said enough. I really want to kind of ask though, I know we've talked about what you were like on the consult call. How do you feel about the kind of person that you become? How do you feel about, and I want you to be honest here, because we did have a frank discussion earlier, about the changes that you've seen happening in yourself and what this journey has been like for you.
Well, yeah, as we've discussed, I don't come across as different per se, but markedly different, I'd have to say. But I know in myself and in my feelings, my awareness and everything, as we were discussing before, I know that if I'm feeling anxious or whatever, I know that there is another, like, it's not always me. It's not always coming from me. After I did that live in your group, and then we went away for the weekend down to Brisbane, and we spoke about it afterwards with that crazy busy playground that we went to, and I just couldn't handle it. I couldn't handle the feelings. Like, I just felt like everything was coming at me. And while I was there, like we were probably there for maybe 15 minutes at the most, until I said to my husband, we've got to go because I can't hack it. And when I was in the moment, I was thinking, yeah, maybe it's like everything that's going on around me. But of course, you know, when you start it, like I was actually starting to get quite panicky. And then afterwards, looking back, and I was like, well, yeah, after everything that's gone on, my awareness of energy and just everything has just gone gangbusters.
Yep.
And here I am at this playground with God knows how many kids, God knows how many parents, and just everything there. I was just so fully aware of it all. And yeah, so I guess over time, as we've discussed, I have to learn to integrate everything into me, and yeah, I guess just to appreciate that it's not all physical me, it's energetic everywhere into me, if that makes sense.
It does. And what you've been able to articulate there is actually quite powerful, because that's where the true power of the knowledge lies, in that awareness. Again, as we've spoken about, once you have that awareness, you aren't actually trapped. And this is big for anyone who's watching. When you have that awareness, you are not trapped in this kind of bubble of, this is all my issues. There's something wrong with me. You know, once your awareness heightens, yes, you always look to yourself for the answers first, but then you kind of go, all right, what else is going on? And this, to me, is the biggest power of learning about the kind of work that we do. Not just for ourselves, but the people that we're working with. So that awareness is massive, and being able to interpret the awareness to then bring it back down to everyday stuff. So it's kind of this up, down, rebalance, elevate. Oh, that's a meme in the making right there, I think. Beth, was there anything else that you want to share? I have no idea how long we've been going for, because we start chatting and it's just like,
I think just with the change in your group, I think it is an amazing opportunity for anybody, and I want people to realize how amazing you are, and I'm sure everybody does. But I would never, like, I found you, I came across you because you'd posted in another Facebook group. And as you said to me a little while ago, that post only stayed there for about an hour. So I was meant to see you, and I was meant to connect with you. And because I normally don't actually click on those sorts of things, I just saw it, and you, I don't know how to put it. You're the person that I just needed to come at the right time to guide me, because I was just feeling so frustrated and so lost with, like, I had this knowing, it was like looming over me, like that there was more to life than what I was doing, and capable of so much more. And it was like finally somebody to understand what I'm going through and to help me through it. So if people are in the background going, oh, I don't know, just bloody do it, because you're doing yourself a huge favor. And I know that this isn't like, you know, I don't want to sound like I'm like, you know, whatever the word is, but yeah, it's just, I honestly can't thank you enough for what you've done to help me through, and just to allow me to realize the amazingness that is actually around us. And we're not just in this 3D bubble of shit, basically, because, yeah, I better shut up there.
I entirely get what you mean. And I couldn't agree with you more. Just the understanding that there really is so much more to what we do in just our everyday lives. And again, the phrase that I know that you like and the one that I really like is just ordinary people capable of extraordinary things. And every time I see that, I can't even begin to tell you. I can't even begin to tell you. And seeing you go through it, you've probably given me more chuckles throughout our time together than I think I can probably recall. It's like, oh, Beth, what are you doing? Slow down. First of all, it's always just slow down. Just slow down. So you're like the road runner. Yeah, what's this? Beep, 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 beep. But as I said, and we are going to continue working together. Thank you for that, on a monthly basis, which is just fabulous. And I actually just want to say that the reason that I agreed to that, and that's, you know, for you, Beth, I've already said this to you, but also for anyone who's watching, the reason I agreed to that is that it's not necessarily about the support. It's about being there for you until you can be there for others, until people find their way to you. And I look forward to seeing that happen, because there's just stuff in you that is just waiting for people to come up and take you up on those opportunities as well. And I sincerely look forward to seeing that happen.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for agreeing to work with me. Even though I kept saying, are you sure? Are you sure? Thank you for agreeing to this interview. It's also always a little bit daunting to feel you're exposing yourself, and I thank you for that. And thank you to anyone who's been watching this, and I will put a link in the comments for you to reach out to me. What Beth's experienced and what many of the clients that I experience is probably something that you probably wouldn't get with other people. And the more and more people that I can sort of reach out to in this way to live their life, mate, I can tell you right now, the happier I'll be and the happier they'll be. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. Mwah. Sending you all enormous amounts of love. Thank you again, Beth.